P3 in the Evo, Mr. Ben Lynn. Where's Ben at? Check that rim out too. Custom two-piece wheels thanks to Street Class. Out front, very cool wide body EK. I think he's been waiting for this for a while. Ben Thorne. Good job, buddy. Ben from Gears and Gasoline YouTube channel. There he is.
We are going to experience high winds and severe weather within the hours.
His second win is Ben Thorne in the white wide body car. I love it, baby. All right, Club TR in P2. Mr. Ben Thorne with the Valvoline livery.
Guys, we're back at Gingerman Raceway for Grid Life's Midwest Festival. It is September. It feels like it is November. This is boost weather. The temperatures are exquisite right now. So the Evo is going to be making peak horsepower this weekend, I think, and it's going to need it because we have more competition than we've ever had in street class before.
And man, the Club TR competition is tough this weekend. I think literally everybody is here. All of the heavy hitters throughout the season, they're all here at this event. So it is definitely going to be the hardest event for me to win. And it's also the most important event for me to win because if I don't win here, I might not get the championship title. It kind of all comes down to this event for me. So I'm very nervous. We have all of our competition here. Ryan Seller in the S2000, Dana in the K-Swapped BRZ, Grant in the K-Swapped Integra, Evan in the K-Swapped EG. A lot of K-Swapped cars. It kind of is the going theme with this class.
Last time we were here for spring kickoff, I managed to get 4th place, just 2/10, literally 2/10 off the podium. At my first time ever racing here at Gingerman. I want to get onto the podium this time. But the competition, again, is stiffer than ever. As usual, Josh Halka is going to be probably pretty dominant. His car is just a rocket ship in this class. He's a great driver. Brandon Randbeck is right there with Josh at the last event. He beat Josh at NCM. Jackie Ding, his Tesla is going to be a rocket here. Every corner exit, it's just going to absolutely catapult out of the corner. Mielke and his Impreza is super fast. We're always within tenths of each other at like every event. There's so many people that I'm going to have to do everything I can to try and beat.
I've done a ton of stuff to this Civic since the last event. Most notably, you might notice these fender vents. That's gonna help give it a little bit more front downforce. I've also got an intake box, which should, in theory, give me a little bit more horsepower. And the biggest mod is Unseen, which is a brake booster delete. That should help some of my braking modulation and should help prevent some of that brake lockup that I had at the last event. Other than that, I've been doing a lot of mechanical maintenance, some suspension geometry, math, and everything to get it more dialed in. Should be a lot faster than it's ever been. I hope it's a lot faster than it's ever been because all of my competition are faster than they've ever been.
All right, we're going off for the first session. They decided to put both me and Ben in Group A, which might be a little generous because there's a lot of very fast cars here this weekend. But we'll see if we can earn our spot. fourth and it just went bump. So much for that. Now, before you say anything about Ben, you should have known this was going to happen. It's a 6-speed and an Evo. All the 6-speeds are made of glass. I don't think that this was an issue caused by the 6-speed being a weak transmission. I've never had any issues with it before, but then at Mid-Ohio, the event prior to this, I ran some non-OEM fluid because we pulled an axle and we were kind of in a pinch. And in that short duration that I used non-OEM fluid, I was out on track and I felt the transmission start to feel kind of sluggish when I was shifting between third and fourth. I think I overheated things and I considered trying to pull the trans and get things fixed up before Gingerman, but there just wasn't really time. And now I'm paying the consequences. So now here I am, 12 hours from home, wandering around in the pits, seeing if someone has a spare Evo transmission. Luckily, things are going a lot better for Ben.
These brakes definitely rock. They're awesome. I had no issues whatsoever. I can get the threshold every single time. Brakes are no longer an issue. We've got it solved. However, now I'm creating more downforce than I was before, but the rear end of the car is super loose because I have too much front downforce now, so I need to counteract that with a little bit more wing angle in the back to get a little bit more downforce in the rear. But I broke sub 40 already, right off the bat. First session, I think I'm sitting in first place, which is a great place to be. I feel pretty comfortable now. I can kind of relax a little bit and chip away at my times. I think by the end of the weekend, I can get a 38. That's the goal. I think I can do it. I think the time's out there. We just gotta do a couple tweaks to the setup and just keep getting more seat time. Car's performing great.
All right, so no transmissions here at the racetrack. However, we are approximately 1 hour from arguably the best Evo drivetrain shop in the country, maybe the world, TRE. I just spoke to John, who is the owner of the company, and what he told me to do is pull the trans, and then tomorrow morning take the trans over to him. He'll rebuild it, and then we'll bring it back, put it back in, and we should be good to go. So I think it'll still have about a day and a half worth of tracking and more opportunities to get on the podium. So yeah, let's start removing the transmission.
So he's always behind the scenes basically at these Grid Life events. I don't know if we show him or talk about him very much. This is Mark. Mark's the man. He makes both Ben's car and my car work at all times. And also he's got an Evo 10 of his own. And he's changed transmissions on that a number of times. So Mark is going to be integral as usual, perhaps even more so this weekend than normal.
I matched my best. I did 39.8. Matt Williams in a turbo rotary FC RX-7 is fast. He was right behind me that session. I have no idea how he did a 39.2. In order to win for the championship, I have to be within 0.8 of a second from him. And right now I am 0.7 of a second from him. Yep, it's coming out. It is day 2 out here at Gingerman Midwest Festival, and while Ben is out for the count working on his transmission, hopefully he can get back out here. But today it's looking like I'm gonna carry the weight of gears and gasoline. Hopefully I can go faster than I went yesterday, which is a 139.8. I'm doing the same lap after lap. So I talked with Tom O'Gorman a little bit about it, and what he said was that I'm overcooking the tires on corner exit. I'm getting on throttle a little bit too early and letting the car kind of wash out, and that's making the tires too hot and it's just pushing it out, and I'm losing some speed there. So I actually need to go a little bit slower in order to go faster. I need to hit the brakes a little bit longer into the turns so that I can straighten up the car and get on throttle coming out of the turns. So I'm gonna keep that in mind, go slower to go faster. And that'll be the lesson of today. Nobody's gone faster. We're a little over halfway through the day. We got one session left in the evening. Might be a little bit cooler, but nobody's gone faster in, like, as far as I know, in any classes. My car's like 2 seconds off a pace from what it was doing yesterday. Yeah, so Ben's not really missing out on much. He's still working on the trans. The track temp is just too high for anyone to go fast.
So while Ben was at the racetrack turning laps, Mark and I had gone to Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is the home of TRE, which is one of the most reputable transmission shops in the automotive space, in my opinion. So the very first thing that Aaron, who works with Jon at TRE, did was a post-mortem on the transmission that I had destroyed at the racetrack. He popped the cover off, and it was pretty gory.
Oh, that's a good one. What we see is that shift sleeve rubbing on third.
How's that look, Aaron?
Tasty.
What happened here?
Well, for one, you've got a ridiculous amount of runtime on this thing at pretty good power, and there's nothing underneath the teeth. There's no actual strength. It'd be like building a house with a horrible foundation. It'd be fine, but not in a hurricane. There's just nothing underneath there. I mean, fifth gear at least has some meat underneath it. Fourth gear, nothing. So we have two OEM third gears here from the 6-speeds. One that hasn't been touched and one that's started to be modified and everything. The corner rounding there is because there's a lot of misalignment issues that that happen. It's kind of like a crank. It flexes a ton. So you got to, like, the more power you put through it, the more misalignment it's going to try to ask from it and everything. You don't want contact out here because there's a lot of bending forces. So you do that, and then you got to sit here and tip relief the corners away because you don't want it to contact out there because it's like a hot sauce packet. It's like a perforated edge and everything. It's just going to rip there. So you take that off, and all of a sudden you add an area where it doesn't want to come off at. And that's just one step of it all, too. I mean, you still got to detail this gear and then shot peen it after and everything.
Within the matter of, like one work day, like 6 hours or something like that, I had gone from having a completely destroyed transmission to a transmission that was now not only fully operational, but better than the one that had come out of my car, 12 hours earlier. I really can't recommend TRE enough. The type of work that they do is absolutely astonishing, and the pricing was really fair, and the service does not get much better than, 18-hour turnaround time or something like that. Obviously, these were kind of special circumstances, but totally saved my weekend, and my car is better for it. So now we just gotta chuck it in there. Should only take 15, 20 minutes, I think. And yeah, then we'll be turning more laps. Might not even miss a session. Yeah, let's do a quick once over. Okay, it didn't. This is.
How did this come out so easy?
Okay, it's Saturday, the last day of competition, and the transmission is back in the car. It's all buttoned up. We drove it last night. It shifts amazingly. So now the pressure is on. I have to set a good lap for sure, and try and make sure that all this effort, was for something really, really good. But either way, totally unforgettable weekend for me. Mark has been my absolute hero all weekend. Aaron, who built the transmission, it shifts wonderfully. He helped us put it in. Dan O'Donnell from Professional Awesome came over and just helped us put the transmission in. Some folks I've never even met before came over, wheeled their toolboxes over and helped us put the trans in. There's too many people to thank. This is what grid life's all about. This is what racing's all about, is just trying to do impossible stuff. And yeah, I mean, we swapped the transmission out, got a new one built. Pretty cool.
We got Ben up and running yesterday. He's got 3 sessions today, I've got 3 sessions today, but all that really matters is the morning session. It's the coolest track temperature, so it is going to be the fastest. I've been waiting for it all weekend. That's the only opportunity I have to better my time. Matt Williams also can better his time in that same session. So the season, literally the entire season championship, comes down to this session.
out, and yeah, I just drove bad. I just kept messing up. It was just kind of all over the place. I think I really need to have more laps under my belt over the course of a weekend in order to kind of put down a good time. I'm not really able to like just go out and deliver like I need to be able to at this point. You know, so it's kind of a bummer. You know, obviously with a weekend that involved such drastic efforts as changing the transmission and all that, you kind of hope for that fairy tale ending where, you know, we get everything swapped out and then I go and I, you know, get podium or something like that. I actually go fast, but it was a big learning experience for me. It was just a beautiful effort from so many people, and you know, really showed kind of what grid life is all about as far as just helping out other people.
I went all out, put fresh tires on the front. I mean, I'm not holding anything back. The setup is dialed in. We've been testing out different setups all weekend. It's in prime form, but unfortunately, the track conditions still weren't there.
Mr. Ben Thorne with a 39.847. 39.847. So that one car looking real nice.
I'm pretty happy taking home a P2 for the event, which in the overall point standings puts me in first place for the championship. So we are the Club TR 2021 season champions, and I couldn't be any happier.
And just like that, Ben has won Club TR Club Track Rat for the 2021 season, his very first season competing in that class. Absolutely dominant, 2 wins and 2 second places for the season.
It's a 2 here, it's a 2 today, but it's a 1 in August.
Yeah, and if Ben doesn't want it.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I was not able to be quite as successful. I finished up the season with 2 third places, a 4th place, and an 8th place. But you know, it's 2 more podiums than I had last season, and a heck of a lot more seat time. And I feel like I've learned a ton.
If this event is any testament to how next year is going to go, it's going to be wild. Yes, we're going to compete again in Club TR next year, and the competition is so fierce. There's so many fast guys here, and a lot of people are going to do a lot of development in the off season, including me. If you remember what this car looked like last year, just imagine what it's going to look like next year.
It was a good season. It was a lot better than last season. Car's still running, and next year, I think it's going to go very, very, very fast.